Is it Verstappen or is it Verstappen? Like Stappen? Because if he is Dutch, you'd think it'd be Verstappen. Alright squad, it's your Squid, coming at you from Anxious Squid Productions with another video for my Motorsport Reactions playlist. I did a reaction to Daniel Ricciardo and somebody else said check out Verstappen in the comments, and so I figured I would. I've got two videos, hopefully they play one after the other, hopefully I don't get blocked, we'll see how we go. The first one is Max Verstappen's Road to F1, and the second one is what F1 legends think of Max Verstappen. So if you want to watch those, if you want to watch the video that's down there, as always, the links are right at the bottom of the description after all the stuff that makes me money. Let's get into it. Oh, I better start the screen recorder. Hey, that would have been bad if I'd reacted without starting the screen recorder. It's not down there, but it is now, I'm fairly certain. Whew, that would have annoyed me if I'd reacted for you guys, but then had nothing to show you on the screen. Let's do this.
Max Verstappen made his Formula One debut with Toro Rosso and arrived in the series surrounded by a lot of hype. He was seen by many, most notably Red Bull, as the next big thing, a potential future world champion who was well worth keeping an eye on. Fast forward to the end of the 2019 season, and Verstappen had amassed a total of 2 pole positions, 8 wins, 31 podiums, and finished third in the Drivers' Championship, which is a career high at time of recording. But how did the Dutchman fare in his junior career and find himself in Formula One at such a young age? Well, here is a look back at Max Verstappen's junior career and his achievements on his road to F1.
Sounds good, I'm keen.
So Max made his karting debut in 2003, and by the age of just 7, he was ready to take part in his first ever championship, starting with the mini category of the Belgium Karting Championship, which he won shortly after his 8th birthday. That began an absolutely remarkable unbeaten run for the youngster, as he would go on to win all 21 races again the following season to take the title, and in 2007, following a promotion to the Mini-Max category of the Belgian Rotax Max Challenge, he would go on to win every race. 3 years in karting and he was unbeaten. There's no denying his talent and potential were obvious. That wasn't all for Verstappen in 2007, though, as he took part in the Dutch Mini-Max category. And yep, you probably
I wonder how young he is at this point. Like you said, he was 7 or something in 2005. By the end of 2007, he remained unbeaten. All good things must come to an end, though, and that run did come to an end in 2008, but it was far from a disappointing year for him. Verstappen took the Belgian mini-category title, again winning 16 of the 18 races, finishing 2nd and 14th at the other 2 races. And that would be the first of 3 titles that year for Max, with him therefore obviously taking 2 more titles, including the cadet category title in the Belgian Karting Championship. Success-littered childhood, right?
Winning all but one of the races in that category, with a technical issue preventing him making it 12 out of 12.
Rough.
In 2009, Max had to once again take part in the same championships he raced in the previous year due to his age, and although the cadet class had been renamed the KF5 category, it was essentially the same championship, and again he won the lot, all 3 of them. After a phenomenal run of form, it was time for Max, now aged 12, to make the step up to the international stage, and it was a big and busy year for
international
the youngster.
At 12,
signing with the Italian team CRG, Max would take part in not 1, not 2, but 7 events, including the Winter World Cup, the WSK Euro and World Series.
Is this like an under-12s event?
As well as the
Who's getting a 12-year-old to drive a thing for him?
World Cup. His results were once again impressive. He ended the Winter World Cup in 2nd place, but went on to win both the WSK Euro and the WSK World Series titles. And again, they were both in the KF3 category, which, by the way, was for drivers aged between 12 and 15. In the other events,
so he's beating 15-year-olds as a 12-year-old, all right.
FIA European Championship, won the Bridgestone Cup final and the WSK Nations Cup, once again in that KF3
win, basically.
However, it was his place in the CIK FIA World Cup that would prove most interesting, well, with hindsight anyway. Despite a number of apparent setbacks during the race, Max put on a really strong display to secure that 2nd place. But who was the eventual race winner?
Yeah, who won?
Well, none other than another young, albeit more experienced driver by the name of Alexander Albon. A driver who, of course, would go on to become Max's Red Bull teammate in 2019.
There you go.
He wasn't, though, the first and won't be the last driver to come across in his junior career, having raced Esteban Ocon back in karting as an example.
So do you reckon they were friends or what?
A little bit later on. So following a number of years where
because they knew each other from childhood
and title after title, 2011 did prove difficult for Verstappen, although he did still impress and didn't come away completely empty-handed. Taking part in a number of events once again, Max, now aged 13, finished second in the Winter Cup, took part in the first round of the WSK Master Series where he crossed the line in third place, took 14th in the CIK FIA European Championship, but failed to finish in the World Cup. As already touched on though, he did take one title, that was the WSK Euro Series in the KF3 category, but that wasn't totally straightforward. He got off to a flyer and built a very healthy championship lead early on. However, things didn't exactly go to plan as Verstappen had to leave the Italian round of the series due to a rib injury, which meant in his absence his rivals were able to close the gap in the championship. Despite that, though, Max would return for the final round of the season and would do easily enough to go on to secure the title.
Good on him.
It was a busy year once again in 2012 for Max as he would take part in 10 different series.
That was a hell of a size trophy.
Of the season and would do easily
like, look at these kids getting these massive fucking trophies. They're going to lug that around for the rest of their life, or they're going to sell it at some point, you reckon?
He would take part in 10 different series or events.
Like, and he would people that are getting trophies every time they win a race, like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd end up having to get storage just to put your fucking trophies in, eventually.
In 2011, it didn't all go his way. The Dutchman took victory in the KF2 category of the Winter Cup. He won the WSK Master Series and also took victory in the first round of the BNL Karting Series, winning all 4 finals. All in all, a very nice start to the year. However, in terms of titles, that was it for 2012. He ended up 6th in the WSK Euro Series, competing in the KF2 class. He was 10th and 8th in the CIK FIA European KF2
so he's starting to go down at the minute, but
respectively, and 2nd in the CIK
there we
FIA
go, back
World
up on the podium.
DNF from the other 3 events he took part in that year. It wasn't the easiest of years for Max, but things would pick up dramatically in 2013.
Yeah, so that was his year of adversity. This is his bounce back year.
Karting and by far his most successful. Now 15 years old, Max would kick off the year by once again winning the Winter Cup KF2 and therefore defending his title.
I mean, being 14 is hard at the best of times, you know? The amount of fucking shit going on, like, physiologically and socially and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that wasn't on his driving, you know what I mean? You got to give that, like, the poor prick's been driving since he was fucking 7 or something, they said at the start, and he's been dominating the whole time. Let him have a year at 14 where he's, you know, getting some DNFs and stuff. It's not that big a deal.
WSK Master Series where despite
bounced back in 2013 as a 15-year-old.
Apparently including a time penalty crash and engine
return to prodigyhood, you know.
Defending
Sorry
his
for
title.
speaking over him.
Next up was the WSK Master Series where despite suffering a number of issues in the second round, apparently including a time penalty crash and engine failure, he would still go on to clinch the KZ2 class title. As if that wasn't enough, though, he would also win the WSK Euro Series and end up 2nd in the Rotax Max Euro Challenge at senior level.
So how much, like,
yet another
he's just racing in all of these different competitions. Like, obviously his folks are fucking loaded. Otherwise, you know, like, I doubt he's racing in all of these different things, right? Like, explain that to me as well. Like, I presume, like, as in NASCAR, with all the videos I've been reacting to and stuff, like, there are your sort of, you know, your working class drivers. There's a bunch of them that are, like, they've worked their way up through there, now they're in the big leagues and all that. And there's this real sort of hatred for Joey Logano because he's a born with a silver spoon in his mouth, daddy's boy type, never had to work in his fucking life, right? But I imagine pretty much everyone in F1 is born with a silver spoon in their mouth, had to, you know, never had to work for nothing, has had time to hone their abilities and focus their abilities on the hobby of driving so that they can become experts at it and get to that top level, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you got to come from money to be able to get all of these championships and all of this experience before you're even, like, before those doors are open to you, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, you get more doors open to you when you don't have to worry about, you know, if you're going to eat behind the next one or whatever.
The CIK FIA European Championship, and that was in
sort of trailed off because I lost my train of thought there.
That was a series where he would go up against another young future F1 driver called Charles Leclerc. I don't know if you've heard of him. Leclerc picked up 20 points on his way to finishing 6th that year, and Verstappen grabbed 50 to take the title. On top of all of that, he also won the European KF category and beat a strong grid of drivers, which included future Toro Rosso driver Jaime Alguersuari, to take the CIK FIA World Championship. 2013 would also see Max jump into a single-seater for the first time as he took to the wheel of a Formula Renault 2.0 car at Pembrey in Wales, and he would go on to test further elsewhere later in the year. With his karting days behind him, Max would move into single-seater racing and started with the Florida Winter Series, a championship organised by, funnily enough, the Ferrari Driver Academy. Verstappen was up against some familiar names in that series, including future F1 drivers Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi.
It wasn't a
bad campaign by any means, as Max took 2 wins from the 12 races and finished 3rd overall in the standings behind champion Antonio Fuoco and Nicholas Latifi. Next up for the Dutchman was a full season in the FIA European Formula 3 Championship, or Euro F3, where he would be reunited with a driver he took on during his karting days and even went on to have a run-in with in Formula 1 in 2018. That is, of course, Esteban Ocon. As well as taking on Ocon, Max will be up against the Florida Winter Series.
A lot of this is a bit of information overload, but I'm enjoying it.
As well as future Alfa Romeo driver Antonio Giovinazzi, and some familiar names, including Jordan King, Felix Rosenqvist, Sean Gelael, Santino Ferrucci, and Tatiana Calderon, among others.
Nice.
It was another very impressive display from Verstappen, as he found himself in the position of, I suppose, title outsider. And although he would
Where's he from, you reckon, Verstappen?
A total of 16
I think I spoke about that in a different video. Verstappen, like, you'd think it would be, like, Dutch. Like, that sounds Dutch. You'd think he'd be, like, Netherlands or Belgium or, like... Is Belgium the country or the... Yeah, I think Belgium's the country. It's, like, in there with... Like, there's the Netherlands and Belgium and Germany and all that. Like, I don't fucking know. I'm bad with European geography. But, sounds like a Dutch name. And I'm pretty sure when I reacted to the Belgian GP... One of the comments might have been, yeah, that's his home GP. So, maybe.
111 points on his way to finishing 3rd in the championship. That's 67 points behind eventual champion Ocon, by the way. But the most memorable moment of that season, for me at least, was the fantastic scrap in races 2 and 3 at Spa between Verstappen and Ocon. Which, by the way, was the start of a 6-race
You said Ocon a couple of times now. I might have to look him up next.
For the Dutchman.
Let me know in the comments section, as always.
Hard, aggressive but fair wheel-to-wheel racing between the two of them. Absolutely brilliant. And I have put a link to it in the description below. Super stuff, and it was pretty much lights to flag battling as well. But anyway, Verstappen won all 3 of the races at Spa and all 3 at the Norris ring to complete that 6 in a row that I talked about earlier. The rest of the season, though, was a little bit mixed for Verstappen. He only went on to take 3 more wins from those final 15 races. However,
still, that's 3 out of 15.
Too much about his finish to the season because something significant happened in 2014.
It's like 1/5 or something of the races, right?
He had a decision to make. After impressing throughout his karting days during his first single-seater season and after testing a Formula Renault 3.5 car, Verstappen was apparently attracting interest from Ferrari, Mercedes and Lotus, with one report going as far as to claim that Mercedes had made an offer to the Dutchman for him to join their driver programme.
Wow, that would have been big.
Max was snapped up by Red Bull and he joined their junior programme instead. Incredibly, just 6 days later, what a week for him, it was confirmed that he would join Toro Rosso and race for the team in 2015.
Good on him.
Pushing that to one side for a second, though, that wasn't it in terms of racing in 2014, as he would also go on to finish 7th at Macau and win the Zandvoort Masters.
In the Formula 3?
And on top of all of that, he also took part in 3 Formula 1 FP1 sessions as he prepared to make his move to Toro Rosso and that huge jump into Formula 1.
Yeah, that is massive.
At just 17 years old, Verstappen would become the youngest driver ever to compete in the series.
17?
As a result of the speed of Max's rise to F1, the FIA went on to introduce new rules to prevent young, or I guess more specifically inexperienced drivers, from making their way into the series just as quickly. However, Verstappen delivered a solid and mature first season and even managed to finish.
What difference does it make to the fucking functioning body? About what age? Like, obviously, as long as it's not child labour, like.
As quickly. However, Verstappen delivered a solid and mature first season and even managed to finish as high as 4th with an impressive
justified his position, obviously.
That year. Although there were
drivers,
teams, pundits and fans about his age, Max showed and has since shown that he is definitely not out of place in F1, and what could well have been seen as a gamble for Red Bull ultimately paid off. As Martin Brundle often said throughout 2015, if you are good enough, you are old enough. That was
fucking A, that's the crux of what I was just saying, you know? Like, what does it matter how old you are?
As they say, is history.
Yeah, that was cool. Now,
in recent years,
I was about to say, this video is the next video, and it's what Formula 1 legends think of Max Verstappen. So we'll have a look at that. They're 2 different content creators, though, so it might be 2 different styles. And yeah, I want you to go and give them both a like, if you can, at the end of this video, because I don't think I've reacted to either of their things before, and they might not like it. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, we'll get into this second one.
Many young drivers make their appearance on track and race among the best of the best in the world. But if you had to pick a driver whose career has skyrocketed since the start, only one name comes to mind, and that is none other than Max Verstappen.
Is it Verstappen or is it Verstappen? Like Stappen? Because if he is Dutch, you'd think it'd be Verstappen. Like, but it's not spelt with the SCH of the you know what I mean? Like, how does he say it? Anyway, let me know. Someone spell it phonetically for me in the comments, how it sounds, if you don't know what phonetically means.
He's already amassed 15 Grand Prix wins, 8 pole positions, 50 podiums, and if things turn in his favour, may well go on to win the championship in the 2021 season. In just 6 years, Max has broken numerous records, particularly due to his achievements in the sport at a young age.
I mean, they
his
are.
strong performances have gained him the respect and adoration of fans all around the globe, as well as earning the praises of several distinguished drivers.
Good on him.
So here's what Formula One legends think of Max Verstappen.
And he's having a crack for the championship this year, isn't he? Like somebody, like the person that suggested this in the comments said you'll get a lot of views because he's the first person that's like been challenging Hamilton for a fucking while now, you know what I mean, in terms of championship. And I don't know if they were referring to the driver championship or if they're referring to the team championship based on Verstappen and I'm going to say Verstappen until someone lets me know in the comments. If it is Verstappen, let me know, and I'll change how I say it moving forward. But for the time being, I don't want to sound like a dickhead, so I'm going to say Verstappen, like everyone else. But yeah, it's I don't know if it's a driver thing, Verstappen versus Hamilton, or if it's the team thing, Mercedes versus Honda, or Red Bull Honda, or if he's even still at Red Bull Honda. But yeah, well, yeah. I've asked all the questions I'm going to ask.
Just like every other driver in Red Bull's junior driver program, Verstappen made his F1 race debut in Australia 2015 with the Toro Rosso team,
on the Aussies,
becoming the youngest driver to do so at the age of 17.
I like that he's number 33. That's the number I've worn since I was a kid. I'll try and do this the right way for you. And oh, you can't see it because of my boot anyway. But yeah, there's a 33 tattooed just there. And it's just, yeah, it's the number I was given when I was playing football one year because I got there late and I didn't get to pick. And I usually had worn number 13 and somebody was like, why don't you just take 31? And because then it's that reversed. But I didn't want to play as 31, so I was like, fuck it, I'll be 33. Anyway, I like seeing it when other people have that same number because I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Presenter Martin Brundle spoke about Verstappen at the time, saying he drives like someone older and talks like someone older too.
Nice.
Brundle has been quite vocal about him, especially after his win at Monaco this year, stating it was a mature and composed.
I'm just going to pause it there in case I got it. Nope, I didn't. My phone vibrated. I'm waiting on a guy to get here.
Victory for the Dutchman. He's the real deal now in that he takes risks when the rewards are high and crucial, but he otherwise plays the percentage game. Nicky.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm waiting on a text message to hear from a guy. So yeah.
Easy victory for the Dutchman. He's the real deal now in that he takes risks when the rewards are high and crucial, but he otherwise plays the percentage game. Niki Lauda. One of the greatest drivers of his time, Niki Lauda was a popular figure in F1 and highly respected by his peers. Although Lauda was often critical of Verstappen, he did commend the Dutch lad on his spectacular performances, especially Verstappen's very first Grand Prix win in Barcelona 2016. Lauda was seen congratulating the elder Verstappen, Jos, for his son's magnificent win.
Slapped him in the face.
Max while taking his iconic red hat off, saying, "He's a talent of the century. I've never seen somebody in motorsport who switched cars and straight up went to win a Grand Prix.
Nice.
That has never happened before, and it will never happen again, I'd say. Since what the young guy just accomplished, he just passed his driver's license, kept everyone in check here. Winning the race is an unbelievable achievement."
That's wicked.
Lauda, however, did not shy away from berating Max in subsequent seasons for his arrogance and risky moves while racing, stating that the driver still has a lot to learn. Jensen Button.
Yeah, no shit.
Having raced alongside Max, his father Jos, and even with Max's mother, Sophie Kumpen, back in the day, the 2009 world champion has much to say about the Red Bull driver and his raw talent, telling the media, "Jos was a great driver, and so is Max's mother. He's possibly the greatest innate talent ever brought into the world. There is a good reason for that. You would almost think it was already the intention 22 years ago." Despite having retired from driving in Formula One,
like
Button has spoken plenty about Verstappen.
What's her name? There's a WNBA player I follow on Instagram. How do you? Carrington. I think it's Dejournay or Dejournay. I don't know. I've only ever seen it read. I've never heard it said out loud because I don't watch the WNBA. But her dad played for the Chargers in the NFL, and her mum was like an Olympic fucking gymnast or something like that. And yeah, she posted a thing on her story on Instagram the other day being like, I was always going to play professional sport. Same deal.
For Sky TV, saying, I didn't race with him for many years, but seeing his performances in tricky conditions like in Brazil 2016, I mean, that is just out of this world. Staggering. What he can do with a car. Button has regarded Max as the fiercest rival that his former teammate Hamilton has had to face in years. Gerhard Berger, the highly successful Austrian driver who once had a 50% stake in Scuderia Toro Rosso, has shown great admiration for Verstappen, claiming he's a world championship candidate, no question. I think it's great for Formula 1 to have an 18-year-old boy doing what he's doing. When being asked if Verstappen shared any similarities with his legendary teammate and close friend Ayrton Senna, Berger was initially hesitant to admit it, but later went on to agree, saying, yes, when I see Max, Senna comes to mind. This is the first time I say something like this, because I was really close to Ayrton, and I think he was the greatest. In his personality, his driving, his results, his preparation, he was different to everyone. I've always respected that,
so he's obviously passed away.
But with Max, it's hard not to. Berger is optimistic about Max's capabilities and that he can finally put up a good fight for the championship this time around. Nelson Piquet. Verstappen shares a close relationship with Nelson Piquet, as he's currently dating the three-time World Championship's daughter, Kelly Piquet. If Max were driving for Mercedes, I'm sure that he would smash Hamilton. Max is more aggressive. He may make mistakes more frequently due to his aggressiveness, but in my opinion, he's better than Hamilton, said Piquet after the 2021 Bahrain GP. Likewise, Piquet's son Nelson Jr., who himself is a Formula E champion, has also spoken well of Verstappen, stating, he's very dedicated in his way and spends a lot of time figuring out what he can do to improve. Even though Max spends considerable time with the Piquets, he doesn't take much advice, asserting that he doesn't really compare himself to other drivers and makes his own choices. Eddie Irvine. The Irish driver is notably known for his sensational drives for Ferrari, while partnering racing legend Michael Schumacher from 1996 to 1999. Having raced besides one of the greatest drivers in Formula 1, Irvine drew quite some comparison between Verstappen and Schumacher, remarking, he's always been super fast, and you can see that he's by far the most dominant team leader on the grid. He's had many different second drivers in the team, and none of them have got close to him. So it's a bit like the Michael Schumacher effect. He further went on to add, while Lewis has been regularly out-qualified and outperformed by his teammates, you'd have to say Verstappen is probably the ultimate talent.
Yeah, I know.
He's a consummate professional.
I got so much heat in one of my first F1 videos because I called Michael Schumacher Mark Schumacher. But you know what I mean, right? Like...
spots. Alain Prost, a four-time world champion. Alain Prost is infamous in F1 history, especially for his
I'd have pronounced his name as Alain, not Alan.
Tight battles for the title.
Much
like his fellow drivers in the sport, Prost has strongly expressed his opinions on Max Verstappen on multiple occasions, with varying degrees of compliments and criticism, saying Verstappen sometimes has to restrain himself.
Bouncing over the ripple strips.
He lacks some rest in his catch-up actions. But if Max has a good car, then it will be difficult to beat him. The Frenchman, in a similar fashion to his ex-teammate Lauda, was quick to applaud the young Verstappen on his first win. What we saw in Barcelona was amazing. Verstappen does not act like an 18-year-old. I sometimes talk with him, and the amount of race experience he has at 18 years is unbelievable. He is 18 years
because
old,
we learned about that in the previous video. He's been driving since he was fucking 7.
To say of the then upcoming Max, admiring the teenager's maturity compared to the other drivers.
At that point, he already had over a decade of racing experience.
Max Verstappen has made huge strides in his F1 career, outdoing himself year after year, well ahead of his contemporaries. Even though Verstappen is revered by many, his biggest supporters have always been his father Jos, whom he's credited for his meteoric rise, and of course his team at Red Bull, who have shown confidence in his abilities right from the beginning. Let us know what you think of Max Verstappen in the comments below. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.
Yep, as always, go give that guy a look. Go give the other guy a look as well. Poke around their channels, then come back to me and poke around mine as well. That would be sick. If you're still watching this and you haven't yet subscribed, do me a solid, hit the subscribe button. My channel's getting a lot more views in the past week or so, but yeah, this is what my subscribed to unsubscribed ratio looks like. So if we can pump that up a bit, that'd be sick. That'd be awesome. I want more subs. That'd be awesome. I'm aiming for 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2021, and I need about 20 a day if I'm going to get there. So I need your help. If you're not subscribed, do me a solid and subscribe. If you are subscribed and you have a friend that you chat about F1 with, send them this video and see if they'll subscribe as well. Thanks a bunch, guys. Leave a like and yeah, consider paying me money. I like money. Turning some of yours into mine on a monthly basis would be ideal. That's what these guys do. And yeah, then I spend their money that has been turned into my money on stuff. You know how money works. I'm getting on with my day. I'll see you when I look at you. You'll see me when you look at me. Thanks so much for watching.